Hello, my name is Stijn Bogaerts. I work at the university hospitals in Leuven, and I will explain to you what I did during my PhD thesis in about 3 minutes. We started mainly working around Achilles tendons and Achilles tendinopathy patients. Patients who today always get the same kind of treatment. We know that exercise is important, and we know that mechanical therapy or mechanical loading is important, but actually all the patients get the same kind of treatment. They get the same eccentric heel drops by the Alfredson protocol from a few years ago, and there is actually no real tailoring depending on where the location of the lesion might be inside the tendon of two different patients. So we wanted to have a way of tailoring exercises specifically to the needs of the patient. We didn't use a structural evaluation because we found that there is a low correlation between outcome and structural evaluation. So we looked into the functional or dynamic evaluation options in Achilles tendons. We started with a literature review in which we found that there have been a lot of studies looking into quantification of deformation, but they have mainly looked at the tendon in a global way, looking from the muscle tendon up to the insertion level and not really focusing on maybe local or intratendinous differences. So what we wanted to do is come up with or establish and validate a platform where we could use the platform with the patient outside of the lab, really hands-on, using ultrasound and ultrasound-based speckle tracking techniques to evaluate the deformation pattern inside the tendon. In the first study we did, we found that there is actually a non-uniform deformation pattern in the tendon, where the deep layer of the tendon displaces more than the superficial layer of the tendon. This is interesting, and this is in line with the same results that we found in literature coming from cadaver studies or coming from studies who did the same thing but using lower resolution based ultrasound. So this was for us important to know that we had the right tool to work with and we had the right results in the same line as previous research. We want to use this tool now, of course, with patients to really upgrade the deformation or to upgrade the rehabilitation protocols. And we did the first study now looking into the influence of the deformation pattern of tendons when we change the knee angle. Because classically the Alfredson eccentric heel drop protocol will be done with the knee extended as well as with the knee flexed. And we wanted to evaluate the influence of changing the knee angle on the local deformation pattern inside the Achilles tendon. And actually we found that there is no direct mechanical influence of this change in knee angle on the local deformation pattern inside the Achilles tendon locally. There is an indirect influence in the muscle behavior of changing the knee angle, so it might still be relevant for rehabilitation. But anyway, the tool helps us like this in guiding the treatment protocols for patients with Achilles tendinopathy.